Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Jermaine Houghton here, and once again, thank you for allowing me to be your Forex mentor. Guarantee you will only get as much success out of this as the energy that you put in. Already got some guys in the group that are doing really good. They've seen when our trades set up, when they work, we're getting pinpoint numbers. Nobody else in the market does that. For the last couple days now, we've bought at the low, at the exact low, at the exact number, and we've had a chance to scale out of all our positions with a profit, and that's what we do on a daily basis here. So making this video for some of the newer students who are just getting in the group, and helping you guys to set up all your charts and everything. Okay, so in one of the other videos I showed you how to set up your charts and use the fib tool, which is going to be a real important tool later on. I'm going to make a video on that probably after this one. So somebody just asked me, they're like, well, what are we going to be trading? Okay, once you have your screen set up, you're going to see a list like this, just like this here, right? Now, everything else from here on up, you can erase. But you'll erase it by going right here and clicking this box. So if I click here, that'll be gone. You don't need that. That'll be gone. You don't need that. Okay? So you can go ahead and get rid of everything else except for you want to start building your list with these right here. So go ahead, pause this video and copy these right here down, going all the way down to this bottom. Okay? All right. So once you have those, here are the rest that you are going to add in. Okay? So we have GBP JPY. We're going to type in right here and add symbol, and here we go. We're going to put in GBP CAD. Just keep hitting, when you type it in, just hit enter and it'll populate on list. We're going to do GBP NZD. We're going to do GBP AUD, USD JPY, USD CHF, AUD USD, right? AUD CAD and AUD NZD. All right, got that. Also AUD JPY. See, and also NZD USD. CADJPY. All right, that is all our pairs that we're looking for opportunities. Then just a brief explanation of what these are. Anything beginning with EUR is the euro. And so EUR GBP is the euro dollar versus the Great Britain pound. In the currencies, you're always pairing one currency against another. It's basically like each pair is like a boxing match. It's like, okay, Evander Holyfield versus Mike Tyson. Who's going to win, right? And that's what actually the chart represents. Who's winning at that time. So for a brief explanation, you might have to just listen to what I'm saying here twice. So in the case, we have EUR GBP. Whatever that first currency is, whatever that first number is, when this chart is going up, that means that that currency is appreciating versus whatever the second one is. So when this is going up, that means EUR, euro dollar, is getting stronger versus the Great Britain pound. Okay? So it would be like if like I said, the example I used just now, Tyson versus Holyfield. If Tyson's name was on the front end of the card, that means this would represent Mike Tyson's beating Holyfield's ass. Okay? And when it's moving like that, Holyfield is beating Tyson's ass. So it's kind of a correlation like that. All currency pairs are matched up like that, okay? It's kind of sort of different from stocks because in stocks, you're just trading that one stock, its value is going up. It doesn't have to be relative to anything. But in currencies, it has to be relative to something because if you think about it, $1 US is always going to be worth $1 US. So I cannot compare the US dollar to itself. But versus other currencies, depending on what's going on in those economies or whatever our Federal Reserve Banking is doing is going to cause our currency to fluctuate against the currency of another country. So the first one was Euro GBP, and we see that currently it's falling versus the GBP, right? Here's the Euro versus the Aussie. AUD means Aussie dollar, and this thing has been falling hard against the Aussie dollar. You can see, okay? Here we have Euro USD, one of the most common pairs. You can see that Euro's been falling against that. We have Euro JPY, that's Euro versus Japanese Yen, been relatively stable, moving around. So you can see it's doing different things against different currencies at the same time. Here's the Euro dollar versus the New Zealand dollar, right? Pretty much been going down. Euro versus the Canadian dollar. So we have a pretty good mixture of things we have going on. That looks like it's ready to start. It's been falling. Right? So Euro's been getting weak against basically everything, almost. Here we have the Great Britain pound versus the US dollar, pretty much sideways. Great Britain pound versus the Japanese yen. It's been moving upwards, right? Now, when you see a slope like that, that's called a trend. When that market is, what it's doing when it's pushing, and you see it's going up and up and up, that's called a trend. So this market actually has been trending up. Right here, it was trending down. Here it was trending up. So that's just some terminology you will hear in the Forex markets. You also hear the trend is your friend, okay? And we'll go over that stuff later on down the line. We'll talk about that. Pound versus the CAD, GBP NZD, that's the British pound, New Zealand dollar, British pound Aussie dollar, right? And so on and so forth. You got the USD CHF. Now that's the Swiss franc. United States dollar versus the Swiss franc, okay? And we have Aussie dollar versus the same thing now. If you notice, they're basically the same ones, but basically against each other. You compare either one up you want to, okay? So what we do is we look for opportunities in each and every one of these. If you like a favorite, you can say, look, I'm only going to stick with these 2 or 3, and when something sets up in this, I'm going to trade it. Or someone like myself, I like to look for opportunities. I'll trade the one that shows me the best setup. And what we trade are called setups. So we'll talk about that in another video. But for now, try to make these videos real quick. If you need to, watch this video a couple times so that this information sinks in, especially if you're a beginner. If you're a seasoned trader, this information doesn't mean anything to you. But if you're a beginner, watch this video over and over until that information sinks in and you start to speak the language. If you need more information, I suggest logging on to YouTube and do some of your own research there. If there isn't enough videos in my curriculum, YouTube is filled with videos, okay? So that's a wrap for now, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.